your likes on social media are but dust,
Oh.
says one writer. As we get into the social media bit, I have a little bit of a confession about my internal life when I go on social. It's hard to stop. It's become such a normal part of life. It's like, oh,
Going
I drank
on
water.
social media, yeah.
Yeah, I opened up social media.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ron has a much more iron constitution than the rest of us, but you still check social media.
Oh, yeah. Especially if I've got downtime, like over the break, I spend a lot more time on social than I usually would.
My most recent obsession, one of my daughters and I, funny little reels and videos of orangutans in particular. They're so cute and funny.
That's so specific. I love it.
And then yesterday it transitioned to birds that talk.
Yeah, those are funny.
Parrots? And...
Yes.
Okay.
But I was going to say parrot, but I don't know if it's just parrots. I think other types of birds talk. But they're very funny birds.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very smart.
Yeah.
I was laughing so much at birds. But anyway, what types of posts will get you guys in a position where you go, this is not emotionally healthy for me? I've suddenly taken a turn after I see this type of post. Anyone want to volunteer that?
I'm not too bothered by, other people's vacation photos. There's the standard shot of your feet and the sand and the ocean in the background. Everybody does that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, great. You've got feet. Nice. But what does start to get to me, and this is, because of my age, more and more of my friends are retiring.
Oh.
And so I'll see somebody who, posts, yeah, today's my last day of work. From now on, every day is the same, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, good for you. That won't be me for quite a while, but good on you, buddy. And so inside, I'm not really that happy.
Okay, so that's how you're measuring this is not a happy thing. Where you're happy for them, but you're feeling what, jealousy come up a little bit, maybe?
Yeah.
And so how does that manifest itself for you? Are you just like irritated? You like roll your eyes at them, or you're...
Yeah, that's probably it. The little irritation, and then that may stick with me for a while.
Yeah.
You'd go about your day and you cut your thumb and you decide, oh, great, there's more expenses.
Now I can't retire for a few more weeks.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I feel a little better about myself, Ron. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You want to? Did
Yeah,
you say
I
you
could
had
share.
one?
The two I thought of, one, staying like the terms of like vacation, is people who have kids about the same age as me going on like extravagant like international trips or just trips in general without their kids.
Oh.
Yeah. So what about that? Is it this person has a support system and I just moved?
Yeah.
or...
They have a support system and nearby that can watch their kids. It's not going to take them 6 hours in a day to get their kids to their grandparents' house where their grandparents could watch them for an extended period of time. And they also have like money to do that, to take a long trip somewhere, just the two of you without your kids.
And so does that become they don't deserve that for you? And I know this is very personal. Or does it become why can't I have that?
It's a why can't I have that?
Yeah.
Or I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, them doing that in the future, there'll be shorter money that you are putting away now and not wasting on extravagant international vacations.
Or they just have a better job and has a lot more money.
That's possible, yeah.
Because this happens to Sarah and I when we watch, we've been watching this one Roku channel on like searching for love searching for homes in Alaska.
Yeah. Searching for love in Alaska might be hard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it must be a lot harder. It's more secluded.
It's 4 people.
And these people will be, they look like Sarah and me, and then they're like, let's see, well, it's our vacation home in Alaska. Let's see, our budget's about $1.5 million.
Yeah.
You just kind of go, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And you walk in this house and you think the carpet's bad, and that's how you make decisions about houses, and you have that much money? That's not fair.
I saw one of those where this lady was just so obsessed with the fact she didn't like the shower head.
Change it.
$20. Fix the shower head.
I do this thing in my head where I'm like, if that's how you make decisions about homes, you shouldn't be allowed to purchase expensive ones.
Her budget was like I think $300,000, and she was obsessed with this shower head that was slightly ugly.
And see, I know this is unhealthy for me, but this happens to me. And this is what it is in social media. I realized recently, other people having vacations doesn't bother me all that much. But it is the pattern I'm seeing between Ron and Lauren and me is someone in a similar life place.
Mm-hmm.
There's a particular family. They're just wonderful. Sarah and I knew them for many years. We've grown apart because of distance and things. But they have a bunch of kids, too. Their kids are relatively similar ages. And these people keep going on vacations. Now, I know I'm going on a trip next year, but it's only because of the radical generosity of my parents. Sorry, yeah, next week. I'm really missing some of the details here. I'm okay, I swear. And I do two things when this family was recently on this exotic vacation. Like somehow they afforded to fly like 12 people somewhere. I don't even understand it. But what happens to me is not, I get a little bit of jealousy, and I don't think you don't deserve that about them. I start to say to myself, what's wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I'm shortchanging my kids because I can't give this to them. Or this guy must be a much better dad. Look at his kids. None of them seem to ever have a problem.
Yeah. Or I haven't climbed the ladder enough. I'm not doing enough.
Yeah. And I know, and then at the same time, here's what I know in my head. I know that I'm not seeing reality.
Mm-hmm.
I know they have struggles.
You're seeing a highlight reel, yeah.
I know they've got issues that they're not sharing with the public. Maybe I'm assuming that this guy is like Scrooge McDuck swimming in his safe full of money. But he could have been gifted a trip.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. No one told me. I'm just assuming that it's his vast business success that I'm not even aware of.
And maybe they're also very generous with the rest of their money.
Or maybe they put it all on a credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
I have one that's not vacation related, maybe to get people's minds spurring. Neither of my children are great sleepers. My first particularly was horrific. And I chose not to sleep train. Okay, that's like a big deal when you have little kids. Are you or are you not going to sleep train? I chose not to. And that's what worked best for our family. But then I see people whose kids sleep all the way through the night from like
the first moment.
From like day 2 days old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They sleep through the night
I
from
don't know what it is.
7 to 7. Yeah.
He's a good sleeper.
Yeah, they never wake up. Yeah, those get me too.
And yet, here's what I can't figure out. I know that my thinking is wrong. And yet I still get in the trap.
Yeah.
So you have an awareness.
Yeah, I
You're
still
like,
do
Lauren, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But for you to be totally healthy, you'd either have to unfollow every other person your age with children that has good sleepers.
Yeah.
Or just quit social media altogether.
Yeah, and the thing about social media is it's not actually a lot of them, even on, Instagram or something, it's not just giving you the people you follow. It's actually more things you don't follow. I see less of my friends' posts than I see about things my friends liked or popular content right now. And it's not necessarily people I follow.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it's like I didn't even want to follow this person, and now you're giving this to me, and now I feel bad about myself.
And when you park on the posts about baby sleeping, what you're going to get is more posts about baby sleeping.
Exactly, because it's timing how long you looked at it.
I mean, it's wild how quickly the algorithms go now. You remember I was saying I'm into watching parrots that talk?
Yeah, now you have bird videos.
It's I watched one video and laughed and let it recycle.
Yeah.
Suddenly, every other reel that came up was parrots talking.
Yeah, and then you also sent one to me, which just adds even more to your algorithm.
Did I
it's
really?
Like, oh, he sent one? He must really like these. Let's add more.
Did I send one to you?
Yes, you did.
Wasn't it amazing?
Yes.
Which one was it?
It was like a bird was saying scary stuff about like, where are you? Or like, come here or something like that.
Yeah,
like, it's kind of creepy.
Don't be scared.
Don't talk to me,
Don't be
little bird.
scared. You're going to bite me. I think you're going to bite me.
Don't be scared.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And then the bird at the end ran up and bit him. Oh.
So it
but
knows.
Those keep coming up.
Yes, and then you start sending them to people. So it's like, oh, Brian likes these. I'm going to give him more of these. But if you stay on it too long and then you're ruminating on, oh, look at Billy, he's on vacation. It's like, oh, I'm going to give you more vacation pictures.
And so I'm working through this because I also don't want to unfollow the family. That it would be a lot of work to go in and unfollow a
Just
lot
mute
of
'em.
people. Well, yeah, not unfollow. I mean, I know how to mute or whatever.
Yeah.
You can snooze them for a while.
But they're like, I feel rude.
They're good people. They're not
Yes.
doing anything.
I mean, they're not going to know. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel bad when I've recently started unfollowing people, and I'm like, well, this person meant something, but I haven't talked to them in like 15 years, some of them. They're not going to know, and I'm never going to speak to them again. It's no loss to either one of us if I unfriend or unfollow them.
Right. And yet I tell myself, I say, listen, Brian, you're a jerk. Like, unfollowing them, they didn't do anything. They're living their life. And you're over here having to mute them because you're such a sinful, horrible person.
Yeah, but they've got no claim to your time either. So
I totally agree. And yet the way social media works, it feels like I made this choice and I'm, you
But
know.
I think it's good to be aware of, I see this thing and it causes me to stumble. I'm going to get this out of my line of sight. I think that's a healthy thing to do.
And I think it's what I need to do. And I have to just get over this, like, wow, I'm such a jerk. I have to unfollow a nice family that I care about. Blech. And I know unfollow is not the right word, but bear with me. I'm 45. Okay. We were honest a few minutes ago, if you're just tuning in, about what happens in our thought life, that we're still wicked sinners who need Jesus, basically, anytime we look at social media, because of kind of the jealousy that pops up and such. What about you? Are you willing to do that sort of thought analysis? I just looked at Lauren and said, how can people even be on social media and not think that we're inherently sinful? But just by looking at themselves. And your response, I thought, was pretty interesting.
I don't think people are introspective about the negative thoughts that they have.
What kind of blissful life is that?
They have those negative thoughts, and then they just move on, or they let themselves ruminate. They don't then kind of like pull back and look at themselves and say, oh, every time I see that post, I feel bad. Every time I see this type of post, I feel jealous. They don't really do that.
What are they doing?
Navel gazing.
yeah, just going on and scrolling more,
Yeah.
looking for something to laugh at.
So there are people who don't live an introspective life.
Oh, yeah.
I think they do. They think they live an introspective life. And here's all the ways that I'm being nice and supportive and support all these causes. But they don't think about their actual thoughts.
So this is a consequence of being a follower of Jesus, is that we do think about our thoughts.
Yeah, we have to. We're called to do that. Take our thoughts captive.
Jesus gave that hard teaching, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you think you're all great because you don't murder people? Yeah, you do.
Mm-hmm.
In your heart. That was a Brian translation.
Mhm.
It's from Matthew, by the way, 5. There was a writer at Christianity Today that really was talking about how we should think about our social media consumption in the year ahead in the areas we were just referencing. And she really, I think, nails the core issue here. She said, the pitfall for us as Christians is when idealization becomes idolization, when ideals become our expectations, when we put our hope in versions of life that we are not promised. So when I'm looking at another family with a bunch of kids who are going on all these trips, I'm somehow believing that I'm promised that. I'm not promised that. She says this is exactly what social media algorithms do. They're designed to dissatisfy, creating a chasm between where we are and where we want to be, insisting that material possessions or proper routines can solve our problems and that success looks the same for everyone. The algorithms beg us to keep consuming content that heightens our sense of not being or not having enough. And that's so true. It's where all of it comes from in our hearts, right? And she goes on to talk about, of course, Ecclesiastes has the opposite message, which is wild because really you don't think about Solomon in Ecclesiastes having any sort of relevance to social media today. But at the end of the day, the entire book of Ecclesiastes is Solomon saying, hey, guys, guess what? I'm the richest, smartest person ever, and I've tried everything. And it's all worthless. All the things you think that you deserve and you think you want in your life, all the riches, all the whatever, it's totally worthless. And And the writer here says, Ecclesiastes' incessant repetition drives home one of the main points of the book. Human ways are disappointing, and placing our hope anywhere besides God is futile. In other words, striving for the picturesque scenes that I see on social media, whether posted by influencers or friends, isn't necessary. What I can do, what I can control, is to love God and keep his commandments. Leaning into obedience will make me into one who he wants me to be and will send me where he wants me to go, which might not be into the kind of life social media encourages me to desire. Social media is not my measure of success. But I don't know about you guys, when I read Ecclesiastes, I get to that part. It's like, well, what we should do is just like fear God and love him. Just kind of go, is that it? I can't go to Costa Rica?
The word that Solomon uses is not worthless. In Hebrew, it's hevel, which means basically a vapor that is here for a split second and then gone. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
As opposed to legitimately eternal and meaningful things.
And so it seems, I think we honestly do kind of go, oh, that's it? Really? But no, a lifelong journey of trying to do what we talked about yesterday. Of all people, former President Carter had that moment where everything failed in his life, and his sister told him, there's actually a way to have a more intimate relationship with Jesus. Like, that truly is how to find fulfillment and satisfaction in the now. I mean, you can look at, and I'm using you as an example, Lauren, but you were saying, other people have kids who are, that sleep through the night. And look at you. You're in one of the coolest suburbs of Northeast Ohio. You have your first home.
Yep.
You got two sweet little kids that are so cute. And somehow our habits every day can tell you a lie that's not good enough. I mean, look at me. I'm on 5.5 acres. I got a donkey. How cool is that?
And none of your friends can say that on Facebook.
Right. No, but I literally saw a video yesterday about how a lady's like, donkeys really shouldn't be by themselves. They should have two. They should have friends. Goats aren't enough. I have goats. I'm like, oh no, my donkey's lonely. I need another donkey. I can't. I'm not being a good owner of a donkey because I need a second one. How stupid is that? But this is what social media does. So what do we? The easiest, just stop. But we're not going to do that. Fix it for me. Go ahead. You guys are smart.
I mean, I think you have, once you realize this and you start to see the things that make you jealous or make you feel like you don't have enough, that you are not enough, mute those accounts. You don't have to unfollow them if you don't want that person to know. It's likely that they'll never know if you do unfollow them. Just mute the account. You won't see their stuff anymore.
I might set off alarms at Facebook headquarters that are like, we don't know what to do. This person's muted everything.
Maybe.
What happens now?
They'll find more content to feed you.
Or start interacting with the stuff that you do like. If you like going onto Instagram or Facebook for the recipes, like those posts, save those posts, don't just scroll past them, and your algorithm is going to give you what you want.
Lauren,
you have to become in control of the algorithm, not in control of you.
Right. And every time I go on Pinterest for a recipe, I get mad that someone thought I wanted to read a novel before I get to the recipe.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Separate issue.
That's a different story.
Like somebody reads that. I don't know who it is, but
I always click the jump to recipe. Always.
Sometimes it's not there. And I get really frustrated.
Yeah.
That's the thing we just need in general, take our lives back from social media. They're not actually social. They are making us isolated and lonely.
Yeah.
You're seeing into the lives of people that you don't even talk to anymore.
So true.
What's the point? Like, actually reach out to someone you were still in contact with and talk on the phone or have coffee or something.
Yeah.
And many people take a fast from social media.
Right.
They may take a week off or a fortnight or a month or a year.
Especially at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people doing that.
And I think that's what this person's implying. And yet, we have a loneliness epidemic, and I think everyone presumes it's somebody else that is experiencing the loneliness epidemic. But if you just look at an experiment in my own life over the last 2 days, I'm part of it because of what these posts from people I like they're good people, are doing to my soul.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. But I don't know if it makes sense to quit. Or even do a fast for a long period of time.
Why doesn't it make sense?
There's this thing, right, where you're like, oh, but then I'll miss stuff. Like, I got a job where I got to know what's happening.
Well, you though, do you really need to? You've got other people here to inform you.
Stop being right.
I also don't think
Daria.
you use Facebook for your news. I think you use Facebook for your
Parrots.
reels about parrots.
But they're so cute.
Maybe just take a break and see what you feel like.
Set a timer and then be done with it after that.
It'll be like, a sugar addiction where it takes a couple days to like start feeling
Detox.
better, but
And then I can actually be grateful for what the Lord's given me as opposed to mad about what I don't have. Yeah. Okay. I'll work on that. Hey there. Thanks for joining us. Like you, we're looking for a different kind of conversation. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a video.